my God, it's crazy. You're like, Meghan, one tear, left eye, go. Give me 3 seconds.
With a camera trained in front of her, crying. One tear, left eye, go.
Hi. Whoops. That's better. Good to see everybody. We are reading. I don't know how much we're reading at this point. I don't know how much we get through. We're reading for an hour. That's what we're doing. We're having an hour of story time. Welcome to Revenge by Tom Bauer. And we'll read for an hour and we'll see how much we get through. And then I'll just change the thumbnails to update them. Cheers to everyone. I just realized I don't have my crown on. What's wrong? What is wrong with me? There we go. Much better. This chapter is chapter 33. Let me say hello to some people, and then we'll get started. We have Darlene. Hi. Liz. Maureen. Meg. Wendy. I know, that's crazy, isn't it? Living an Eclectic Life. Nadine. And hello to all the rest of you. As somebody said, lurkers, which is funny. Those of you who aren't in the chat, that's okay. Thank you for joining. Oh, Miss Lita's here. Hi, Miss Lita. And those who are watching this on rerun, playback, whatever it's called. I should move the mic a little bit closer. That might be better. Okay. So we are doing chapter 33, Farewell. I guess they are leaving London. Let's see. Without question, Harry would say about Meghan, she saved me. Unsure about her precise future in Los Angeles, Meghan hid her emotions from the public during the brief return to London on the 5th of March in 2020. Her script required a dramatic finale. The Sussexes needed to spin their narrative of leadership, modernity, I didn't know that's a word, and victimhood. Okay, leadership, being modern, and being a victim. Boosting her commercial value entailed constant visibility. Oh, that's something she still was searching for. Empathetically, her advisors advised that the optics should remind Americans that she was a duchess married to a prince. Yes, very important optics. Even though her title was stripped from her of Her Royal Highness, but I wonder if that's covered in the book. Their first photo opportunity was styled as if it was a Hollywood star. On a rainy night outside the mansion house in the city, Meghan, wearing a startling electric blue dress, stood close to Harry, as she always does, under an umbrella. Brilliantly choreographed, the image showed two celebrities enjoying their freedom. The composition and lighting enthralled even the veteran royal photographer Arthur Edwards. Quote, "It was the best royal picture of the year," end quote, he judged. Vanity Fair described the photo as cinematic and affectionate. On that day, those who had dubbed Harry a hostage were flummoxed. In the photograph, the prince appeared to have escaped to the Pacific Ocean, leaving William with the royal burden. The Sussexes were undertaking. I didn't even think about that. That's another reason why William's going to be upset with him. He and Kate are now taking on way more responsibilities. Like, they started bringing in, I think, Andrew's daughters, Beatrice and Gertrude. I can't remember. What was the other one's name? Eugenie. Crazy old names, huh? They started bringing them up to start participating in more royal duties because you can't have Andrew do anything and you can't have Fergie do anything. And now they're 2 people down and there's appointments on the book. There's things that had to be done. I never thought about that angle of it. I just thought about how they just up and left the family, how they're besmirching the name of the royal family, how they planned all of this behind everyone's backs. Yeah. The victimhood, the claiming of racism, the claiming of mistreatment, all of it was just, I thought it was that, but gosh, I just didn't even think about the fact that he's like, okay, for the rest of my life, I have double duty. Okay. Moving on. The Sussexes were undertaking their last royal task, awarding prizes for the Endeavour Fund. During a military ceremony, Harry solemnly reaffirmed to serve Queen and country and, quote, never leave his band of brothers, the wounded military. 2 days later, his final engagement as Captain General of the Royal Marines at the Royal Albert Hall was more emotional. Wearing his red ceremonial uniform to anticipate the 75th anniversary of the end of the Second World War, he came close to tears as the audience cheered the loyal soldier. At that moment, many recalled his happiness in the army and wondered how he would cope with exile. Some speculated that he would despair about losing contact with his friends and family. Quote, "It was so unnecessary," Meghan said angrily to a friend about Harry losing his military appointments. Well, he's okay. So before he even left, he was stripped of losing his military appointments. I don't know what that means exactly. Wait, let me read on. Let me see if it explains it. Reality hit 2 days later. Now, I just thought by military appointments meaning his royal duties in terms of visiting military, but maybe he still has ties to the military on some level and has to attend ceremonies on almost more in line as military instead of royal family, maybe. I don't know what that means, but they wanted 1 foot in and 1 foot out, and of course the royal family said no. So I guess that's it. He was just stripped of his royal, doing anything royal, but they just assumed they still were going to from Canada. I guess they just assumed. I'm just putting it all together between what I'm reading from the book and what I see online. They wanted half in, half out. The royal family said, the Queen said, no, not half in, half out. Well, her and William and Charles all together said, no, not half in, not half out. However, Charles was still funding him on some level, some money after he left. And they were still, in terms of a family, connected. So I guess that was it. So there was no royal connection, although he would show up for royal big events because he would do it kind of just being a family member. Okay, I'm figuring it out in my head as I go along here. Reality hit 2 days later on the 9th of March. A monumental argument blew up after Harry was told that he and Meghan could not join the family's procession through the Westminster Abbey for the annual Commonwealth Day service. Although the order of service listed Harry and Meghan walking behind the Queen, palace officials had revised the decision. Suspicious about the Sussexes, they decided to publicly humiliate them. Oh, okay. Harry was told that having stepped down from royal duties, he and Meghan would sit and wait with the congregation. The prospect of the televised image of their isolation in the Abbey appalled them. By then, they were keenly aware of Kate and William's antagonism. William had not offered a brotherly welcome, and Kate was outright distant toward her sister-in-law. Eventually, to end the dispute, William and Kate agreed they too would wait with Harry and Meghan. We'll sit with you and hold your hands so you're not embarrassed. William, future king, offered to sit back because Harry threw a temper tantrum. How big of them. I wouldn't have done it. Okay. To end the dispute, William and Kate agreed they too would wait with Harry and Meghan. As the members of the royal family filed into the Abbey, the frayed relationship could not be concealed. Kate had blanked the Sussexes, and William's greeting was cold. Ooh, never heard that term before. She blanked them. I guess that shut them off as a way. Never heard that phrase. She blanked them. I never used the word blanked as a verb before. Always use it as an adjective. Okay. Harry looked strained. Meghan's face showed bemusement. During that same day, Meghan bid farewell to the last few members of her staff. And they were throwing a party. Omid Scobie's version was, quote, staff who had been with the couple from day one were in mourning at the end of what was supposed to be a happy story. Were they, Omid? Were they? I mean, how many of them were there since the beginning? They drop like flies. Well, I guess Harry's people were probably still all there anyway. Especially invited by Meghan, Scobie also watched. Oh, Meghan made a point to invite Omid Scobie to this. Okay. Especially invited by Meghan, Scobie also watched her last private engagement at Buckingham Palace. After meeting 22 students who had received Commonwealth scholarships, he wrote, reality finally set in as I gave Meghan a goodbye hug. Tears that the Duchess had been bravely holding back are free to flow among familiar faces. Meghan apparently said to Scobie, quote, it didn't have to be this way. End quote. No, it didn't, Meghan. That's all I can say to that. No, it didn't, but you made it happen. So there you go. Even on her last day, Meghan did not want to understand that the royal family could not compromise. To the end, she could not understand why her demands were not met. Quote, I gave up my entire life for this family. Oh gosh, it was like 18 months. I gave up my entire life. Oh, she ended a television series that she wasn't getting renewed on. It was the end of her story arc on the show. There was no additional contract. There was no additional work. There was nothing for her to do, and she had nothing in the pipeline. She just decided to marry into something bigger. Gave up her entire life. Gosh, I can't believe she said that. She apparently told this to a friend in London. Quote, I was willing to do whatever it takes, but here we are. It's very sad. I'm the victim. Meghan's personal regret was not the lasting memory of her in-laws as she sped from Westminster Abbey to Heathrow for the flight to Vancouver. They recalled an angry, adventurous denied the power to dictate her own fate. It's an interesting sentence. I don't know what he meant to say there. They recalled an angry adventuress. There's two S's at the end. So that's who she is. She's the angry adventuress. Denied the power to dictate her own fate. So she was an adventuresome person who was angry, but denied and angry because she was unable to dictate her own future and fate. think that's what that means. Despite all the efforts to welcome her, the wedding, the house, the staff, the foreign tours, the limited duties, she barely worked. Meghan had refused to accept that a monarchy epitomized continuity. There was no place for someone to overturn 1,000 years of evolution to spearhead her progressive new role. The nation was bewildered and divided. Tom Bradby's criticism of the royal family, quote, few meaningful attempts were made by anyone to heal the wounds, end quote, resonated with those who blamed the Windsors. In their opinion, the family had also abandoned Diana. They lamented the lost opportunity. I mean, it is a lost opportunity. I don't deny that. That's for certain. But I mean, once you figured out who she was, it was never going to work. But like, it was the end of a dream that we thought it was going to be. We thought Meghan could be a fraction of what Kate is in terms of class and elegance and embracing the royal family's culture and life as a royal. Like she didn't have a pinky's worth ability to do any of that. Meghan was all about Meghan and how she was going to modernize the royal family. She really thought, it is so funny how he says right up to the very last day, she was still bewildered and confused that this was happening. She was convinced that she would just make demands and they would say, okay, Meghan Markle, you're so important. We will do what you want. And throw away all the rules, bylines, and guidelines and bylaws that there have been in the royal family for thousands of years. For you, Meghan. Okay. Others were outraged by Meghan. Quote, it's deeply unfair to the Queen, who doesn't deserve to be treated this way. It is a shoddy way to treat her, wrote the Mail contributor. The majority were perplexed by Meghan's lament, quote, I gave up my entire life for this family, end quote. They're perplexed by that. So was I. She spent only 3 years in Britain. Okay, she was there for 3 years. Okay. She left behind former staff and a world which was misled about her intentions. The following day, the New York Times reported that Meghan had departed to, quote, decamp for one of the frontier outposts, Western Canada, and an uncertain life as semi-royals, end quote. What does that look like, semi-royals? They got everything taken away from them. Okay. The Sussexes declared the headline would, quote, head to Canada to patch together a new life and build their brand. Ugh. She still hasn't built her brand. She's had like 5 different titles for the company that she works for. And the few things she's done have gone defunct and terribly wrong. And she's getting fired right and left. People giving her millions of dollars in contracts are just like, we're walking away from this. Be gone. Netflix, Spotify. Can you think of 2 bigger companies in terms of social media? Not really. There was good news from Los Angeles, of course. Meghan's team had recruited Catherine Saint Laurent, a Canadian-born philanthropic organizer and formerly a key aide to Melinda Gates, to be Archwell's director and the couple's chief of staff. Saint Laurent would describe her new employers as global leaders who embark on this journey of learning, listening, and inspiring all of us to act. How does she inspire us to act when we haven't seen her do one act of philanthropy since she left? Not one. But she's supposed to inspire other people's too. How? By having people fly her on private jets and stay in expensive hotels and get up in front of a microphone and speak and say, you need to do this. This is what we must do as a collective. But then she never does. Is that? I'm just curious. Words, all words with no meaning, words with no action behind them. She would add, I am thrilled to be able to play a supporting role in realizing their vision and enabling them to achieve impact on the issues that matter most to them. Saint Laurent's task was to entrench the Sussexes as global influencers. Her description of Meghan's mission was perfectly crafted jargon. Quote, at Archwell, we unleash the power of compassion to drive systemic cultural change. We do this through our nonprofit work within Archwell Foundation, in addition to creative activations through the business verticals of audio and production. That's, oh my God, it sounds like it came right out of Meghan's mouth. That's how she speaks all the time. Oh my God, it's so Cody Brown. Let's take a bunch of big words and put them together. And instead of saying, in addition to audio and visual productions, in addition to creative activations through the business verticals of audio and production. So bad. So wordily arrogant and stupid at the same time. Okay, described as a nonprofit charity. I'd love to see what it does. Archwell, what? Because that way she can collect donations and apply for grants and get money. That's why it's a nonprofit, because it's doing nothing right now. It's just set up as a 50c3 for tax purposes. Archwell, allegedly, in my opinion, Archwell had no money in the bank. There was no explanation of how, in the future, they would divide their income to support their personal lifestyle, pay their employees, and fund Archwell. Nor would they list all of Archwell's beneficiaries. Oh yeah, who's going to benefit from this? What are we going to do with this money? And maybe that's all it was set up to be, is a charity of collecting money and then disseminating it. And she wasn't going to actually boots on the ground do anything. I don't know. Unlike the transparency laws in Britain, the Sussexes would be protected from scrutiny. Everything was ready for their new life, or as Meghan called it, the next chapter. I can't believe we don't have transparency laws here in America. How does Britain have better transparency laws than us? We need to get on that. Secretly, in mid-March, when it comes to nonprofits, I don't mean people's lives in general. I don't mean personal invasion of information or anything like that. But you're allowed to wiretap in Britain. You can't do that in America. You can't invade people's privacy. But yet in America, we protect nonprofit organizations from being able to, you have to have transparency. And I guess certain things, I know the books are supposed to be transparent. And you're supposed to know who's on the board. That's transparent. But I guess the actual description of what you're going to do with everything doesn't need to be transparent. That must be. All right. Secretly in mid-March, the Sussexes family boarded a private jet and dashed from Vancouver Island to Los Angeles shortly before entry into American airspace was restricted by the escalating COVID crisis. The jet was owned by Tyler Perry, a film producer occasionally represented by Keely Thomas Morgan. Typically among the interlocking relationships, Tyler had sold his TV series, The Have and the Have-Nots, to Oprah Winfrey's television network. Perry also lent the Sussexes his 8-bedroom home in Beverly Ridge, worth $18 million. The biggest house in the area was set on 22 acres of land. Although not inhabited by the same prestigious A-listers as in Beverly Hills or in Malibu, the Sussexes could cast off their memory of those unpleasant months in Frogmore. Comfortable enough in the 8-bedroom home on 22 acres of land to forget life in Britain. There was no reason for any doubts when Meghan exclaimed, quote, for so many reasons, I am glad to be home, and so glad also to take Harry away from his home and away from his family and away from everything he's ever known in life, to bring him here. I was lost and lonely there. And sure, he'll be lost and lonely here, but we'll figure it out because I'll be with my friends and family. Oh, wait, no friends, no family. I'll be with Hollywood celebrities and a chance to be even more popular. Moving on. That was not in the book. Okay. There was no reason for any doubts when Meghan exclaimed, "For so many reasons, I'm glad to be home." Okay. One of the few not to welcome her was Donald Trump. In the past, she had called the president divisive, misogynistic, and added, "You don't want that kind of world he is painting for us." After their arrival, the president tweeted that America would not pay for their security. No one had asked America to pay, Meghan replied. I love how he just came out and said it, though. It's pretty funny. Just want you to know. Unusually, Trump did not rise to the bait. Quote, "She was nasty to me, and that's okay for her to be nasty. It's not good for me to be nasty to her, and I wasn't. She's doing a good job. I hope she enjoys her life. I think she's very nice," end quote. All right. The president's emollients was rewarded by Harry telling a hoax caller, quote, "The mere fact that Donald Trump is pushing the coal industry is so big in America, he has blood on his hands." Oh, God. Is this an initiative I know nothing about? Or, I mean, is it because there are coal miners who die in coal mines? Is that occasionally? So we're not supposed to use coal anymore? Is that a thing? I didn't know that was a thing. Listen, people, if you all want your iPhones and your AI this and your AI that, you have no clue how much energy it's going to suck from us. We are going to need energy from everything: nuclear, solar, wind, coal, natural gas, you name it. I'm telling you, that's the stock market to get into now. Mark my words, 5 to 10 years from now, energy crisis. Harry. Meghan was returning to California after a 9-year absence. For the wealthy, Los Angeles is glorious, sunshine, sea, spectacular countryside, excellent restaurants, unlimited reservoirs of staff, and a perfect environment for children. Mothers like Meghan cared about organic philosophies and natural foods. Rich enough to enjoy the beaches and lifestyle, Meghan could easily convert Harry to the pleasure of wading in the Pacific and watching the surfers in Santa Monica. Better than shaking hands with the public on a rainy English town. Free and independent, she promised they would build exciting, rewarding lives. It seems like what she's building is an exciting and rewarding life for herself. I don't think Harry's buying into it that much. I feel like she's just like dragging him along on a leash. But he's going. He's smitten. Their prospects in the short and long term were different. The city's, we see that already. The city society hostesses were certain to seek to adorn their parties with a duke and a duchess. Oh, they thought every party was going to want a duke and duchess at it. I wonder how that turned out. No, not so well. California's great and good would undoubtedly flock to experience the novelty of them. Harry's celebrity guaranteed attention. But in the long term, their lasting success depended on the message and manner. The challenge was to sustain their status. That required not only building a solid network of famous sympathizers, but also retaining a loyalty of millions of people. Oh, this was the plan? Okay. She can start at any point. The couple's hypersensitivity made the job harder for Saint Laurent. Their hypersensitivity made it hard. Both expected. Okay. I might know this word, but I don't think I've ever seen it in print. Obsequiousness. Obsequiousness. Okay, here's our new word. Where's my words? I'm gonna write it down. Can you look it up for me, people? It's or just write it. I mean, you might just know it. OBSEQ. UIOUSNESS. He always teaches me something. I should have been doing this since we started the book. Can't believe it's only been like 1 or 2 chapters when I started saying, let me write down all these words that Mr. Tom is using. UIOUSNESS. Obsequiousness. What does obsequiousness mean? How can he still be with her? Hi, Alicia. How can he still be with her after all those interviews with Oprah and the stunt at the tunnel? I don't know. I do not know. Ms. Lita worked at a nuclear power plant in AI. Oh, in Iowa. And it closed. Now they're building data centers and they want us all back. Nope, we're good in Georgia. Yep, stay in Georgia. Stay where the weather is nice. She is all about being recognized. Does anyone know what that word meant? She absolutely wanted us to pay. Oh, yeah, she thought America would cover security. We don't cover the security for anyone in America unless you're a government official. And not even all of them. You have to be pretty high up. Obsequiousness. Okay, there we go. Ready compliance or obedience. Okay, why didn't he just write obedience? I'll just write obedience for my definition. Thank you very much, Meg. Okay. So I'm going to fill in the word obedience here. Both expected obedience and the exclusion of critics. Finding like-minded people for long-term relationships would be a challenge. Yes. I'm trying to think, what friends did she have when she came to America that she still has now? She's really befriending the Kardashians. That was something she really wanted to get in on. And she did end up at a party for Chris's birthday that was thrown by Jeff Bezos, head of Amazon, at his home. Now, there's drama surrounding that. If you haven't heard, that just happened like recently because I just saw it this morning that Chris and Kim both had pictures posted of the party on their Instagram. The first set of pictures, Meghan and Harry were not in any of them. Okay, so it looked like they got snubbed. Then they put out the B crowd list of pictures. And Harry and Meghan were in those a couple times. Harry looks like he was checking out the rack on Chris in one picture, and he was holding up a drink, dancing. He looked a bit sloshed at this party. And then all those pictures came down. And so the second group of pictures all of a sudden had no Harry and Meghan. So now the whole question is, why? Rumor is, and I think it's just rumor, the palace, they found out how upset the palace was about it because it was the Day of Remembrance. And so everyone is remembering the fallen soldiers. It was Veterans Day for us, Day of Remembrance in England. So they're remembering fallen soldiers. They all wear the red poppy, which like somebody, the one clip that I was listening to it on, they were playing different content creators explaining what happened. And the one's like, and Harry looked all dapper, showing up in a beautiful suit with a red flower. Okay, it's a poppy, and it's because it's Remembrance Day, and at least he remembered because Meghan wasn't wearing the poppy. And he just got in hot water with Canada over wearing the LA Dodger hat. But claiming he's a Blue Jays fan, like, whatever. He has no loyalties anywhere. We know that. So now the whole question is, why were all the pictures taken down? Did Harry and Meghan request that they all be taken down? And then if so, they said, well, that'll probably remove them from a lot of social circles in Hollywood, because when you start demanding what happens with your photos, people don't want you around. That's what I've heard. All right. I don't know. We'll see where it goes from there. As of today, there's where the drama lies. So there's only one picture of Meghan way in the background, turned around from her back. Like, you would never know it was Meghan Markle if somebody didn't point out and say, so Meghan's in one photo. There she is back there. They may have wanted to just take down the pictures of him like drinking and partying on Veterans Day and Remembrance Day. And it does appear to me that it's much more reverential in London. And maybe it's just because it's the royal family. I don't know. So they have the whole, we have something in Washington, D.C., but I don't think the pomp and circumstance is quite as big as it is in London. I'm not sure. All the little things, like all the elementary schools, like ours always have on Veterans Day, they have it all decorated in the library, and before school in the morning and for the first part of the day, any kid that had a relative of any sort that was currently or formerly serving in any branch of the service could come in, and they had breakfast with their kids. It was really cute. It was a special time for my dad to go in and sit with his son, because they didn't do anything at the other elementary school before we moved to where we live now. All right. Oh, London was bombed on that day? On Veterans Day? Do we have Veterans Day because of that occurrence? Is that why we picked the day too? Did it just become a worldwide, let's just all honor the military? I wonder. Now you have me thinking. Okay. I got to finish up our chapter. Maureen says, very important in the UK to remember the fallen, as it should be. Okay. So finding like-minded people for long-term relationships would be a challenge. To their misfortune, their relaunch coincided with the world going into lockdown. COVID's imposition of solidarity, COVID's imposition of solitary lifestyles was causing desperation amongst millions of people. At the dark moment, the Queen offered sympathy to all. Her televised address to the nation ended emotionally by recalling the wartime song, We'll Meet Again. On Sunshine Sack's recommendation, the Sussexes posted a rival message about the global crisis. They wrote, quote, we will be sharing information and resources to help all of us navigate the uncertainty, end quote. Their Instagram post declared, quote, from posting accurate information to learning about the measures we can take to keep ourselves and our families healthy, end quote. The presumption that the Sussexes should be trusted to distill the accuracy of the science was audacious. So true. Oh, what are we supposed to do today? Let's go to Meghan Markle's Instagram. Oh gosh, that's hysterical. What did we call it here? Our governor at the time during COVID, his last name was DeWine. And at 4:00 every day, he did an hour-long update on stats, numbers, statistics, as well as where we are in terms of prevention and requirements and everything, just general information. statistically wise, and then also what recommendations were for people and where they see things going. Updates every day at 4:00. And we called it Wine with DeWine because his last name was DeWine. The 4:00 wine with DeWine. Get yourself a glass of wine because you got nothing else to do but sit at home and drink. And see the update on what's going on and when can we leave our house. It's pretty funny. Let's turn on Wine with DeWine. Okay. Where are we? In the countdown to bid farewell at the end of March to the followers of Sussex Royal and end their royal lives, they pledged not to embarrass the Queen or rely on financial support from Charles. Quote, "We look forward to reconnecting with you soon. You've been great. Until then, please take good care of yourselves and one another. Harry and Meghan." Okay. That was sweet and it made sense and it wasn't wordy. Tony Parsons articulated the voice of disillusioned Britons. Quote, "As the UK struggles with the worst health crisis in living memory, the message from Harry and Meghan's borrowed Beverly Hills mansion to the country they abandoned is loud and clear. You think you've got it bad? It is all stunning. The arrogance, the hubris, the self-regard, the self-pity, the lack of self-awareness. You can see how we went right off on them. The abiding memory of 2020 will not be Harry and Meghan phoning in their woke messages from Los Angeles. It will be the Queen stirring, profoundly moving, and genuinely inspirational "We'll meet again" address to the nation at the height of the pandemic. So that was to the nation. I thought it was a message. Hold on. I thought Harry and Meghan said that just to Charles and the Queen. I was wrong. This was their bidding farewell to. Okay, takes a different. There's a different taste to this now. Okay. In the countdown bidwell to the end of March, they pledged not to embarrass the Queen. See, like they wouldn't say that to the public. That's why I was thinking she was just talking to the Queen directly. They pledged not to embarrass the Queen or rely on financial support from Charles. Quote, "We look forward to reconnecting with you soon." See, I thought the you was Charles and the Queen, but I guess it was London or the UK. "You've been great. Until then, please take care of yourselves and one another, Harry and Meghan." Okay, so Tony Parsons. Where does this quote end? Wrote, let's see where the end of this quote is. Oh, all the way to there. Okay, here's the quote from Tony Parsons. "As the UK struggles with the worst health crisis in living memory," yes, I'm kind of repeating myself, but I was lost. I didn't realize what was happening. "The message from Harry and Meghan's borrowed Beverly Hills mansion to the country they abandoned is very loud and clear. You think you've got it bad? It is all stunning. The arrogance, the hubris, the self-regard, the self-pity, the lack of self-awareness. You can see how we went right off them." That's an interesting phrase. It's a British phrase. I don't get it. But anyway, moving on. "The abiding memory of 2020 will not be Harry and Meghan phoning in their woke messages from Los Angeles. It will be the Queen's stirring, profound, moving, and genuinely inspirational 'We'll meet again' address to the nation at the height of the pandemic. If they were not quite so full of themselves, Harry and Meghan could have been national treasures during this crisis." True. Imagine Harry turning up to talk to frontline health workers. Imagine Meghan showing the nation how to look drop dead gorgeous in a face mask. This is really snarky. It was not meant to be. As our nation struggled with the worst health crisis in a lifetime, these empty, self-obsessed, self-pitying celebrities left Granny to do the heavy lifting. Poor Granny doing the heavy lifting. And at 94, the Queen did it brilliantly. But how pathetically shallow the Queen makes Harry and Meghan look, and how empty and trivial, how redundant they seem outside of the context of the royal family. End quote. Okay. At least Meghan no longer had to remember to cross her legs when sitting. And that's how he ends the chapter. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm embarrassed to say this, but I feel like I should know it, but who's Tony Parsons? Who Tony Parsons is? Only Tony I know is Tony Blair, and he was long gone by then. He's a journalist. Okay. A broadcaster and a journalist in Britain. Got it. I know we've read about his name too. All right. And author. Okay. All right. Thanks, Maureen. She lies as always. She couldn't wear one because they weren't available in the US. I know she did say that. There was a quote there. She didn't say they weren't available because she's so clever with her words. She said, they're very difficult to come by. Do you think Meghan Markle is not? How did Harry get one? That makes no sense. There's one right there on your husband's lapel. Could you not have ordered two? Crazy. That's her excuse for not wearing the poppy on Remembrance Day. Yep. Oh gosh. It's pathetic. She's pathetic. Oh, I'm loving this part. This one is a crazy read. I know. It ended with a bang, didn't it? I love that. Our governor is a nightmare. Well, we've moved on and had other governors. Actually, we had our current vice president was our governor for a while there. After that, not directly after that, though. Boy, I mean, oh, maybe he was. I don't remember. I don't follow politics that closely, to be honest with you. Okay. He has no loyalties. He probably looks at Meghan and sees how he was a reckless young man, especially in Las Vegas. Oh, yeah, Alicia. Those videos, or those photos, I guess I should say, were very revealing. How he would play strip poker. I mean, drunk, but he has to have security, right? You would think that his security detail would be in charge of seeing to that no one's phone was available to take pictures of Harry naked, but what can you do? Harry. Thank you very much. We have snow, but it's supposed to be in the upper 60s over the weekend. So I figured, well, I'll just put it on because it's kind of matches my fall theme. And I still have my brown nails. I got to get my new nails. They kind of look red in this picture. I need to make an appointment. It's hard to get an appointment. For some reason, nobody else can book an appointment with the guy my nail tech, who's kind of like the owner of the salon. It's always like, oh, you need to call back to make appointment with Tom. Tom's not here. You must call back. And then I get busy. I ended up going to a different salon when I got these, but it was $65 for a fill. I'm going back there. I mean, they did a nice job, but I'm not going back there. No, thank you. I didn't even ask ahead of time. I figure out. They're always about the same price everywhere, somewhere between around the 40s, $40 to $50. Okay. Hi, Alicia. I see you there. You're going to have 80s. I'm glad the weather's getting nice. 65. I know. I should be holding my hands like this as I read so I can take full advantage of them. But now it's time for new ones. Yeah. I mean, she did a beautiful job. And she's like she's almost like a manicure. They like took lotion and massaged my arms and and I'm like, oh, this is so nice here. I like this place. Maybe I'll start. It's a little further away than my place, but maybe I'll start coming here. And then when she told me the bill, I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, okay, this is a one and done. It was lovely. Okay, well, that's it. We are done for today, people. That was lovely. We are reading Paradise next week, and that is about their place in Montecito or Santa Barbara. Oh, Montecito is in Santa Barbara. They're both city names. It must be like a section of Santa Barbara where the most expensive people live. It's called Montecito. I always thought they were two separate cities, but apparently not. All right. I can treat myself. Yeah, I did. No more. It's outrageous. Do you know when I used to get my nails done? I used to get a fill, but I didn't get the gel polish. I need the gel polish because my nails are so weak. If they grew this long, they would bend right over. My toenails are the same thing. If I can't get around to cutting my toenails, I could just tear it. Like I just don't have strong nails at all. So that's why I have the nails because underneath the nail that's growing out is nothing. All right. So I could never have nails until I got these in my life. I could never grow nails. So for years, I went to this place and it cost $15 for a fill, for acrylic nail fill. But then I got regular polish. So I didn't have the gel polish and that costs more money. But I had regular nail polish on top. $15 for years. She sold it right before 2020. Because I remember thinking, wow, she got out at the right time. Boy, she made bank on that. Sold her business. I went back once. They raised the prices to like 22 or something like that. I'm like, I'll go somewhere else. I didn't like the people that were there that took over anyway. And then COVID hit. So yeah, that was back from about 2017 to 2020, $15. Now it's like 40. What can you do? I don't know how they made rent $15, but they deserve more than that, but that's what they charge me. Okay. Thanks for being here. I will see you next Wednesday night. We will not meet the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Just if you're planning your schedules, just so you know accordingly, I will have kids home here, staying here. Thanksgiving that night before Thanksgiving. I think to be determined. I'll create the thumbnail, but I might have to cancel it. We'll see. Now that I think about it. Okay. No, I will have kids here. No, I know on Thanksgiving night I will. I know I'll have kids here in the morning visiting and spouses, but then I think they're going to another family and then coming back. I don't know. I'll let you know. But that might not happen Thanksgiving weekend. And the Wednesday after that, we probably won't either because I'll be in Nashville picking up my daughter on that Wednesday from the airport to come back from their baby moon vacation. Gosh, that would be 2 weeks in a row. So I'll try to do it on the night before Thanksgiving. I don't know if you're all available or not, but I guess if it's just one or two of us, I can still read it and then you guys can watch it later. But I hope you could be here and join us. Anyway, in the meantime, I'll see you next week. You take care. God bless. See you next time. Goodbye. Let me do this on the outro.
Mission accomplished.
Seat as though I was like, pleasure to meet you, Your Majesty. Like, was that okay?
But wait, there's more.
The conversation of he won't be given security, he's not going to be given a title. And also concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
Hold up.
Hold up.
There's
Stop
several
right now.
there's several conversations.
There's a
about it.
conversation with you
With Harry.
about how dark your baby is going to be?
Potentially, and what that would mean or look like.
Oprah, they're so racist. That's not racist. Because even black people want to know. How brown the baby gonna be?
That conversation, I'm never going to share.
Ooh, this is uncomfortable.
We'll talk when we get home.